Go ahead.
My name is Sam Wessels. I am 9. Here is my question. The Centers for Disease Control and Prevention says that 1 in 5 American children has a learning disability today. Mine is autism. What is happening to Americans' most precious resource, her children? And what do you plan to do about it? Thank you.
Thank you. Appreciate it. That was excellent. Thank you so much for that question. I appreciate it. And you know, as a father of a special needs child, this is a big issue. As to, you know, how we make sure that we have an education system or system that's there to help special people. And here's the interesting part. We're all special people. We all have special needs and special problems. We all have special gifts. And unfortunately, we have an education system in this country that doesn't see us that way. They see the education system in this country is interested in the education system of educating children, instead of looking at you, Sam, and saying, we need to educate you and give you the best opportunity for you to be able to grow. Why can't we do that?
I like this guy.
Why do we settle for less? Why do we settle in this country for tinkering around with a government-run education system? You know, I call myself a consistent conservative, but nowhere do I call myself a perfect conservative. I have made mistakes like, well, I think we all have in life, and, you know, for maybe good intentions, but didn't turn out exactly the way we had hoped. In one case, it was the No Child Left Behind bill. It's not a bill I advocated for, but it's a bill I voted for. I had a hard time coming around to vote for it, but I eventually did, and I regret having done so. Because it was while it was intended to try to identify a problem, and in some respects it did, the solutions it prepared were wrong. And that was part of the compromise, which I didn't like, and which has turned out to be the tail that wagged the whole dog, which is huge infusion of education funds and mandates, and government control from Washington, D.C. of our education system, paperwork and regulations. I haven't met one teacher, that says that they can do a better job of teacher because of this federal government control. So we should repeal No Child Left Behind, but not just stop there. We should repeal most of the federal government's involvement in primary and secondary education. But that isn't a vision. The vision is, how are we going to create an education system that's going to work? Well, you have to have an education system that's focused on the customer of the education system. And who's that? The parents. So this young man's parent is the one who's responsible for his education. Now, you can have help from the federal government, you can have help from the state government, you can have help from any level of government, but it doesn't remove the responsibility of the parent to educate their children. Well, parents, of course it's your responsibility. You start from the time they're born. You teach them their numbers, their ABCs, you teach them how to read and write, you teach them manners, you teach them about God, you teach them everything, you help form them. And at some point in time we've been convinced that it's okay to sort of stop and then turn your kids over to the government to do it. Well, no, that doesn't work. Now, I know good parents don't do that, and good school districts engage the parents, but that is not the norm in America. And we need to change the idea of having a system that educates children. We need a system that says, let's use the resources, focus them in, and work with parents to develop a system that does more than just provide academic education. How many parents here only care, when it comes to the raising of their children, only care about their children's academic achievement? That's all you care about. It's unanimous. Then why do we send our children to a school that by law, that's all they can care about? Why do we send our children to schools that don't give our children the opportunity to have a well-rounded growth and opportunity in education, which includes inculcation of virtues and character and morality and even spirituality? Why don't we allow parents to put their children in that educational environment that meets all of the things that their parents want to see out of their children? Why? Because the government says you can't. It says you can't unless you have, of course, your own money to do so. Well, that's what has to change in America if we're going to create not only success for this young man, but success for every young person in America. We are losing far too many children in this society. Far too many who are dropping out. Far too many who are not getting the education so they can succeed in America. And the only way to change that is by getting parents back involved and in control of the system. Will there be parents who won't do a good job? Yes. And then we'll have to help and remediate. But you don't design a system around parents who don't do a good job. You design a system around what most parents do, which most parents love and will do whatever it takes to help their children. I don't know if you've ever seen this movie, Waiting for Superman. It's Waiting for Superman is a movie. It's a documentary that was made a year or so ago. Very interesting group of people that made it. It's about a bunch of children in an inner city school who wanted to send their children out of the school that they had to go to in the inner city and into a school that they believed gave their child the best opportunity to succeed. And you see the plight of these parents and these mothers, almost all single moms, who are trying to help their children, give them the best chance, and find out that the decision as to whether their child is going to get the opportunity to succeed or be stuck in a failing school. Schools in the inner city. I went to one of those schools. I went to William Penn High School in North Philadelphia. North Philadelphia is one of the real rough neighborhoods of Philadelphia. It's right next to the Richard Allen Public Housing Project, one of the toughest and worst in America. And I remember going into this big school. It's a huge high school. Lots of kids. And I was there and they said, I want to take us to meet the kids in that class, and the kids in the school and the senior class who were going to go to college. So I expected, since the size of the school, to go into an auditorium and meet these kids. And I walked into a little classroom. No more than 25 kids in the room. And they were being talked to by a counselor about the educational opportunities they had in college, which was basically to go to college free anywhere else. It would be free because of their economic condition. I remember getting up there and seeing this almost, I won't say blank stares, but uneasiness among these kids. And so we started talking a little bit, and I finally asked my question. I said, what's the greatest concern you have? What's the greatest challenge you have every day here at William Penn? You know what their answer was? Getting to school alive every day. Now, when you have mothers who want to take their children out of an environment like that and give them something else, and according to this movie in the one place we were talking about, the way that was decided was via lottery. In America today, kids win or lose their opportunity in their life, their chance for a good life because of a lottery. That is not America. We can do better. And we need a president who can break away from the teachers' unions and the government control and give that power back to parents so every one of those mothers in the movie could get their children in the best possible setting for their child. There's billions and billions of dollars. It shouldn't be spent on institutions. It should be spent on giving what children need and deserve in our society.